Welcome to this bite-sized episode in which I take one lesson from one of my previous conversations and have a closer look. Hello and welcome back. So this bite-sized episode is about recognizing that fundamentally we are all the same. We do have a bit of a tendency to put people on pedestals. You think of successful sports people, celebrities, business people, and there's no doubt that such people are able to create some phenomenal things, but it is a mistake to project godlike status onto such people as if they really are a superior species. They're fallible human beings just like the rest of us. I call this the illusion of mental hierarchies. And seeing through it is so valuable as you stop believing that some people are more important or valuable than you, and that you are more important than some people. So many of us are striving to prove that we are someone special, but really we just need to recognize we are all equally special and always have been. To illustrate this one is former Liverpool and England footballer John Barnes. Enjoy.
Fortunately for John Barnes, football is popular. But someone who's much more committed, much more talented than Tiddlywinks won't get it because no one likes Tiddlywinks. So why am I worth more than him? Because I do something that's popular.
Yeah.
You see, so and these are things that are out of our control. We have no choice over. So in terms of the way we see, so I've always said, even if you don't want to look at it from a footballing perspective, I've always said that we can't help the way the fans see us, but we can help the way we see ourselves. And I'll use Ian Rush and Kenny Dalglish as an example. When they played for Liverpool, the fans will always put them on a pedestal ahead of Sammy Lee and Jimmy Case. But they don't see themselves that way because they understand what's necessary for success is for everybody to be on the same level. Because Ian Rush can't score a hat-trick and be successful if the opposition score 4 goals, because we would have lost 4-3. But unfortunately, some people feel they're successful as long as they do what's right for themselves. So to your point, we can't control the way other people see us. Now, just as an example of that, Liverpool fans would say, John Barnes is great, he's the best player ever. Man United fans would go, no, he's not, he's rubbish. What is he? What's the reality? The reality is that I do what I do with authenticity, and if people like me, they do. If they don't, they don't. But the reality of who we actually are is that we're exactly the same.
You talk about having this eureka moment. You've spent a lot of time traveling, and then you have this eureka moment, which is we're all the same, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about. So I often use the analogy of when a babies are born, it's obvious. It's obvious that their value is innate, for starters, and the same. But you had this moment in airport. So first of all, can you tell me about that eureka moment? And then tell me the lift story, because in brief, because I think it does sum it up brilliantly.
Well, I suppose, if I'm traveling around, obviously, and I've been to Iraq, Afghanistan, I've traveled everywhere. And of course, because from 2011, I started going to South Africa 1 week a month, 12 times a year. I want to go via different countries. I wouldn't fly with the same airline. So, I go via Amsterdam, I go via Nigeria, I go all over. And you meet so many different people, different cultures. And ultimately, when the plane's late, everybody's pissed off. And, when the babies are crying, my baby is crying, and so we are all the same. We get angry, we get upset. So first of all, that's when we're all the same. Then secondly, when of course, because we do have this perception since 9/11 of people who look a certain way, and they may have a rucksack on their back on a plane, we know what people may think about that. And of course, when somebody comes up to me, if I'm in an airport, like when I was in Kabul, for example, and then all of a sudden they're approaching me, and I get a little bit apprehensive as they come towards me. And as soon as they come up to me and they go, I saw the game last week, and I think that, that goal shouldn't have stood, and Liverpool are doing great, and we don't like the Man United fans. I'm thinking, well, you're just like everybody else. You're just like me. What's the difference between us? And of course, the lift story. So Donald Trump, the Queen, everybody gets in the lift. They're all standing apart. You've got the CIA looking after Donald Trump. The Queen's aide looking after him. You've got the homeless person. You've got the black guy. And everybody's in the lift. We're going up and down, avoiding each other. The lifts get stuck. And then after 5 minutes, people are still in their little groups because they still feel that, well, the aides have to look after Donald Trump. The CIA got in Donald Trump. The aides are got in the Queen. After 2 hours, all changes because the CIA are fed up looking after Donald Trump. They want to go and talk to the black guy. The Queen's aides are going to talk to somebody else. The Queen's there talking to the woman who works in Tesco's about how many kids she has. And then this goes on. If you're stuck in the lift, the longer you are actually stuck together, the more you will then just deteriorate into everyone just being hot and smelly in a lift. And then as soon as the lift starts to work again, You go downstairs, it opens, everybody does their tie-up, the queen puts their crown on, the aides come back to her, and then we go out into the real, what we consider to be the real world, whereby the expectations of us is that the queen has to ignore the homeless person, Donald Trump has to racially abuse somebody else, and the aides have to, so that's really the essence of it.
I thought you summed it up very well there, John. You know, I mean...
That's reality, and I'll tell you why, because as a footballer, when people first of all meet me, and it's like, oh, there's John Barnes, the footballer, and, you know, he has to have a certain way, then after we've been with 4 hours, and we're still in the pub having a drink, they say he's a pain in the ass, because he just keeps going on about his kids or whatever, and he's a normal person.
Of course.
You know, where the perception they have of me is that I'm a superstar who just goes to Hollywood and, you know, flies private jets. But after meeting me for a while, and that's the same for everybody, because no matter who you are, from Cristiano Ronaldo, you spend the same time, enough time with Cristiano Ronaldo, he'll stop being Cristiano Ronaldo and just being the pain in the ass back person who just keeps brushing his hair in the mirror or whatever, you know.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I think what I find quite interesting is when it does go to someone's head. And I don't know to what degree it did go to your head when, you know, at the height of your powers. But so the people I have...
Let me tell you why it didn't go to my head. If I'm
go. Yes, yeah, go for it.
I remember when I was like 18 years old, 19 years old, I started playing for England. And the press had a different attitude towards me when I played for England, played for Watford. They loved me for Watford because they liked the idea of the underdog doing well. So when Watford were finishing second in the league and beating Tottenham, beating Arsenal, they're telling me I was great and blah, blah, blah. Then with England, things weren't going well and they're telling me I'm terrible. So I had a bit of an issue with that. And then Graham Taylor pulled me to the side and he said, you know, when the press tell you how great you are when you play for Watford, how fantastic you are, he said, do you believe them? And he says, if you believe them, you're going to have to believe them when they tell you you're crap as well. So don't believe when they praise you. Don't believe when they don't praise you. So don't get carried away when people tell you how great you are, because that's what we want. We want people to tell us how great we are and believe that, but we don't want to believe the bad bits. So you can't have it both ways.
Thank you for listening to this bite-sized episode with John Barnes. I hope you enjoyed it. I really think recognising the innate sameness of all people is such a valuable process to embrace. Really, why should you treat a celebrity or a famous sports person differently than, for example, someone serving you in a restaurant or behind the counter in a shop? Ultimately, as John said, we are all the same, which can be a really liberating thing to recognise. Before I go, please do share this episode with anyone who might enjoy it. And a reminder to sign up for my newsletter featuring some of the best life lessons I've learnt at simonmundie.com. For now, goodbye.